Hey guys, I'm Captain Mike and this is Whiskey and Literature, and tonight we're drinking a single malt. Cheers. Wow, what a nice pour. Alright, tonight we're finishing off Redwood Empire's small lot series that they released in 2023. We've gone through the Devil's Tower, which is a high rye bourbon. We did the Screaming Titan, which is a wheated bourbon. And tonight it is the Foggy Burl, a single malt. And we're just going to get right to the specs and stats and then get to the whiskey. I will add chapter tools to the video below. So if you don't want to watch the facts and just want to get right to the whiskey, then feel free to skip ahead, Tim. Okay, like all Redwood Empire bottles, I think it's the exact same bottle. Fairly ordinary and plain, but really stands out is their labels. All the artwork is really great on all of their bottles. But important to me really is the information on the bottle, and they do a fairly good job giving us the information that we want to know when we're drinking a whiskey. So let's just use this label and go through what we're drinking tonight. It says it's a single malt whiskey. It doesn't say where the single malt is from. So of course it is 100% malted barley, toasted and char 3. It says there are 27 barrels used for this small lot in batch 1. And that's right in line with the Devil's Tower, which has 25 barrels, and it's about half of what's in the Screaming Titan, which used 50 barrels for that batch 1. And unlike the other two expressions, this one is bottled at a lower proof, 94. Of course, batch 1, let's go to the back of the label. It has all the fluff and propaganda that we expect from a back label on a bottle of whiskey, but there are a couple points of interest and information on this label which are worth our time. First of all, it does say it is a California single malt whiskey, so we can confidently put this in the category of an American single malt. It does say they used over 7 different types of malt, which is kind of weird. Like, don't they know exactly how many types of malt they use, or they're not confident in how many types of malt they used? Don't know. Either way, there's at least 7 in this bottle. It says it's grain to glass. We can verify that. It says here in the small type that it is distilled and bottled by Redwood Empire. And I think that is really great. When they opened and started selling whiskey, they of course sourced a lot of their whiskey. And they still do source whiskey. And I'm not against source whiskey. I drink a lot of MGP and these other, a lot of High West and a lot of these other distilleries that are still, including Redwood Empire, that still use a lot of source whiskeys, and I think that's fine. But whenever a distillery can kind of grow up a little bit and wean themselves from the teat of the source whiskey, I think that's pretty great. I did pay $99 for this bottle, and that is MSRP, so let's get it. Foggy Burl from Redwood Empire, single malt. What a nice nose. It's just a chocolatey malt bomb. I've made a lot of cakes through the years for Mrs. Captain, birthdays and Mother's Days and all that sort of thing. And, chocolate, it just reminds me of that when you pop the top on those chocolate frostings from the different brands. It's just that, there you go, chocolate frosting. But there's also a kind of a cakey, bready note in there, but also just that overwhelming chocolate as well. So think of like a chocolate cake donut. My triglycerides are a little high, so I'm kind of laying off the sweets, or I should be. Don't tell Mrs. Captain. But definitely a chocolate donut note. No real alcohol on the nose. Some more sweetness, but now it's like a honey sweetness. A bit of fruit, red apple. It's a nice nose. It is not it's not overly complex. It's just a big chocolatey malt bomb overall with some hints of other, a little bit of red apple and honey, but mostly it's just chocolate, cake, malt. I go do distillery tours. I'm going to actually Kentucky next week, and doing the tours, and some distilleries say, oh, don't swirl the glass, don't agitate the whiskey, or swirl the glass, or swirl it left, or swirl it right, or swirl it a little bit. I don't know. Do you swirl the glasses? I do. I forget sometimes, but it's, you know, a lot of legs coming down. There's a little bit of beating action going on. Just leads me to believe it's not an overly viscous type whiskey. Color-wise, it's perhaps a little lighter than the other two of the small lot series. But overall, it's a nice, visually appealing whiskey, if you will. Foggy Burl, cheers. It's really initially just buttery smooth. I'll even say a little buttery note, but just a nice smoothness. Cocoa powder, just that chocolate note coming in, definitely cocoa powder. But then we're rolling in with some more sweetness coming in. It's that same honey note that I had on the nose. So chocolate, cocoa, some honey. Let's see what else we got to offer in here. Baked bread. That cakey note is kind of given away to more of a bready note. And then, wow, let's do it again. Just a little heat, perhaps just a bit of spice, but then it's leaving me with it's a nice Tootsie Roll. It's that cocoa powder, baked bread, some honey, and some Tootsie Rolls. It's a nice palate. Just a bit of spice going on, just kind of leaving me right now. It's just a medium finish, not a whole lot of warmth coming down, just maybe perhaps a bit of heat. Definitely like a malty chocolate malt balls, kind of just sitting there, but it's actually ramping up on some spiciness, some earthiness, just kind of leaving me with kind of an earthy feeling, a little spice and chocolate malt balls on the mouth. Really good whiskey. I am super happy to have just got this today and popped it open and gotten into it. Okay, American single malts, they are almost like the hot thing lately. And I think we've all had different expressions of the single malts. I've had the High West, High Country, of course. Jim Beam has the Claremont Steep. We've been to the distillery and done their tour at Stranahan's in Colorado. And all the big boys and all these small craft, if you will, these small distilleries are making their way into the American single malt category. And what I'm actually really happy is that these guys are doing things a little different. And they're not trying to copy the Scotch single malt. Because if you're trying, you are not going to beat these guys at their own game. No way, no how. There are actually no actual regulations about what is an American single malt. There is a commission and there's some proposed regulations, but you as a consumer need to do your own diligence. With Reserve even, they have a straight malt whiskey. Now, I don't know if you noticed that difference there. I said a straight malt whiskey, not a single malt whiskey. This only has 51% malted barley and 47% corn. So this is in a totally different category, really, than all the other whiskeys that we've talked about here tonight. And that doesn't mean it's not worth your time picking this up and tasting it. But actually, it's not. And so I think because the American distilleries are not trying to just copy and do kind of a one-note wonder, trying to copy the Scots, they are wildly divergent in the different expressions. And all the ones that we've had here tonight that I've shown, those are very crazy different single malt whiskeys, and I've had some other ones here, and it's just amazing the difference between all of those. I do think the Foggy Burl is one of the better ones that I've had. Compared to some of the other ones, perhaps the Foggy Burl is a little bit more malt heavy, but whoever complained about a Tootsie Roll in your glass. Guys, I am really glad to have this bottle and to be able to finish off the Small Lot series by Redwood Empire. And I think that if you can see this bottle on the shelf, you should pick it up and you'll be happy that you did. All my guys and girls, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to see more of my content. Again, I do both book and whiskey reviews, but for now, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Cheers.